Hey there, Ddraig back, and as promised, let's have a look at the campaign of the Greybeard Prospectors. So, first of all, where do we start? Well, let's do a quick map out, zoom out. As you can see, we're right at the bottom of the map, far away from anywhere as pretty much possible. So, if we zoom back in, and we start off with two provinces. So we've got Eye of the Panther and Vocis Mountain. Vocis Mountain is the bottom one. So this is basically an impassable route. And it's just Skaven, which they just happen to be up here. And so this is the main one. So as you can see, if we just jump into here, I'll quick look through it. Here's all the recruitment. So here's all how you get your various units, which I've already been over. I'll pop a link to that in the top right hand corner. And then we've got various different types of facilities. We've got ancient ancestor shrines, and there's some absolutely, and then got the surveyors there. Engineer's workshop, engineer guild hall, master engineer, garrison as always. That's standard, and then you got the various incomes and public order, and a peacekeeper, and the trade depot. So pretty much the standard stuff for the dwarves in that section. So that's the provinces. So your first army is up here, which we'll jump into in a minute. So you're right near the coast. You've got what's his face? One of the Tomb King Edry Lords to the west. His name might come back to me in a bit. It's the Black, isn't it? Can't remember his name. You know what? You know who I mean though. Arkham the Black. There we go. And to the east, we've got a solitary lizard man unit. Which is them. I'm both pronouncing that. And we've got another, I believe we've got one over here as well, a Skaven. There's a Skaven settlement here, I believe. I think there is. And then we've got Patonia here with Arhek, Martek, and Kulfa. So this is where you push forward and get your first, and then you secure this province. So that'll be your first province. And from there, well, there's numerous choices. As you can see, it's quite an interesting starting location. Apart from the Tomb Kings, nobody else starts down here. So you got a bit of a free reign to go and explore. You're quite close to southern Austria down here. You've also got to the east, you can go a bit further into the green Tomb King lands. You can also go to where the Greenskins live. Go north, go up to the Saratoga and the Southern Realms up here, Tyria, etc. Or you can push up to you. What is quite apparent though is how far away from the nearest dwarven settlement. You are miles away. You pretty much. I don't think there's any dwarven factions to here. There may be one rogue one somewhere, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But the nearest one's going to be all up north, up here. I believe the nearest one would be the special DLC one is over here, isn't it? So that will probably be the closest one. Belgo Ironhammer, isn't he, over here? Just see if I can get that right place. It's about there, isn't it? Yeah, it's about there it is. That's where he starts. So that's probably the closest one. So if he pushes to here, possibly get a trade route with him. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the army, and then we can move on to other things. So there's an older Greybeard, and his starting army, or a couple of units of sentries, some Obsidian Legionnaires with the muskets, and the scouts, and then one cannon, which is not a bad deal starting army. Nothing special, but as you can see, it's very small. How many units is that? 80, 150, 220, that's 300 pretty much, give or take. So it's very small starting army. And the income's not massive at the start either. But one good thing about this yard and the Eye of the Panther here, one, they've got a gem mineshaft, and the vultures, if memory serves, was it? One of these has got an iron mine there, so that's pretty handy as well. So you got a couple of choices straight off the off. Is there anything special here? No, just the gem mineshaft. So there it is. That is the starting location for the Greybeards. So let's move on, and we can start looking at the technology tree. So here we are with the technology tree, and as you can see, Elon has put a lot of effort into this and has completely redone the Dwarven technology tree, which I'm completely more familiar with. And so I'll just take you through this technology tree while we're here, because it is quite interesting, and there's a few key bits which I want to show you. Mainly, I'll just show you roughly what each section does. So you got one. This is one long tree. So you start off with trade bonuses, growth, casual replenishment, a bit more casual replenishment, and income. Then you got Oath Gold. This faction, of course, has the Forge, which I didn't mention in my campaign Overhaul, and it has the Bugger Grudges, so that's all been ported over, and all the various things that come with that. So you got more trade. This is all about trade. It's all about public order and things like that. Then towards the end, you got various Dwarven gods, which you can lock various sections to. So if you go down this tree, you have to take it. So this is how replayability with this faction, I thought. In my own personal campaign, I did about 100 turns, 120 turns. I didn't actually get to finish it, because obviously Total War Warhammer is very time consuming, and I've been quite busy recently. But I have played it quite a bit, and it was quite an enjoying campaign. I have also started another campaign, which I'll probably show at the end of this video. But in the meantime, that's the technology tree for the top section. Quite an interesting little bit of role playing you can do there. Then you got your Arshine Defense. So these are all for various unit buffs. And as you can see, there's various buffs which are quite gyrocopters. You get cheap with your main yard. You get cheaper cost and a few more bonuses for gyrocopters. So that's quite nice. Not a heavily used unit I've done in when I'm playing dwarves, but it is quite nice to have some really effective gyrocopters for a change of pace. And I'll come back to that right section in a minute. Here's a bit more diplomacy and some speed and various interesting buffs. And you got various things. And you got some inspired by paractology. Obviously the Vampire Coast is quite nearby to the north. So you got some interesting various ways to tailor your faction to your own personal tastes. If you like explosive rounds, if you want to use extra powder, things like that. Then you can analyze scaling technology if you really want to, and then find some more poison grenades and various things there. It's a really unique. It's one of the most unique tech trees I've ever seen. Actually, it's really well made. And we've got doom rockets and other various things there. And here, if you want to, you can improve the battle rations with the dwarves and basic dwarf reinforcements units for recruitment. Now this is the same mechanic which is used in the recent DLC. So they will provide you, and I'll show you where they provide you at the end of this. On my, like I said, I was playing a playthrough, and I'll show you all that in that playthrough. So that'll come at the end of this video. Then you got Dairy Settlers. Then you got various little buffs. So you got Advanced and a Yeet, and that's all provided by a separate section. So you can either totally ignore normal dwarves, your bog standard the northern dwarves, I should call them, and just keep with this particular faction type of dwarves, or completely change your mind and have more of those and just fresh out and only have the more unique units you get with this faction. Just to add it, like maybe you want some more of the mortars, the specialist mortars, various precision cannons. You can mix and match more. It really allows you to give you your faction a really unique style, with allowing you to pick out some of the best units from the normal Dwarven Yines, like the Hammerers, and from the Greybeard as well. Very interesting. Anyway, there's the tech tree. Let's move on. So just before we get to Aldir's skill tree, I just want to point out something which I mentioned in the tech part, that he has some abilities to buff up gyrocopters, which is the following: 25% extra ammo and some physical resistance. Very nice for the future of the warfare, which is kind of a cool buff. So let's jump into the skills while we're here. And obviously you've probably never seen this, unlike sort of mix use stuff where he makes you has all the edge of the yards, and then he just mixes in his own abilities and he creates some new ones, and they got some a few unique bits. With this one, he's done exactly Elon has done exactly the same type of thing. So he's had all the campaign ones as well. But some more unique ones up above, so I just thought I'll hover over some of them and I'll point out some which I find interesting. But mostly these, the bottom ones, are the usual things. Quartermaster and Inquiring Minds, nice research rate, something very key for dwarves. Then you've got the actual army buffs, so these are more based on the factions' particular unique units. And we've got some various ammunition, particular ammunition for various gyrocopters, gyrobombers, and the Yankors. Portable artillery, so walking ordnance and grenade units. Some bits of bobs for the various MIA units. Some more artillery. Artillery is a big theme of this army, as you might have guessed. So Rowry, Rock Solid, some more buffs there. Supreme Power, so missile damage. Very nice buff that. In the middle of battle. Engineering destruction, so tons of unique abilities. That's a standard one, and these are always personal ones, so I'll quickly skip through these because most of them are your standard things, like ballistics calibration, if I can skip over. Rune Maker, so I'm just making really hard. And a brilliant ranged specialist, if you want to, or making a bit more better in close quarters. Then you got Path of Redemption. So this is trying to, so if you want to role play trying to get back to the dwarves' core values, would kind of like to see that CA put into the main game actually, because I think that's quite a unique idea. If you had your standard dwarven yord, and then maybe if he uses a couple of battles, he has to take the Slayer Wolf, or maybe he just like this one, he just take, if at some point you just thought, right, I want him to be a true Slayer, you just tick that, he knocks out some of the other buffs, but increases, but gives you more access to different buffs, like more, and in this case, more Swayers. I just found that'd be quite an interesting mechanic for it, and very your friendly as well. Death Brawl, an Oath Fulfilled, Belt, so you got various versions of Belt, and Doomseeker. So all this would buff your reactions with the dwarves, because he, as older in his own personal role, what Elon has created, that he's a bit of an outcast, and this is his way of redemption to get back. So if you wanted to play a bit of a role, play him as a role-playing game character, and then try to get back your honour, I suppose you could say, with your fellow dwarves, that's the one you could go into. Let's just go to the top of the tree. Unprecedented Genius, or Unappreciated Genius. So this allows you a bit more unique bits for your faction, i.e. his army. So there's a few bits of spoilers not for his army, but so there's the headshot and the till you see the whites of the eyes. Zuldrun, a very unique ability, very powerful. An Engineering King. All various buffs for the engineers, and then there's his weapon. Leadership, Yord of Depths, Vigor Yos, the traditional aura increase, Rune of Grimnir, and Adventure of Heart, so it gives that a rowdy ability. So here we are with Obsidian Legion Commander Stolchi Grunzenson. So I thought I would quickly do, seeing that there's two new Yords, well, it's technically Thanes as well, but I thought I'll go over this skill tree. I've also already been over the main one all day. So this is his skill. This is a Obsidian Legion Commander skill tree. Now this is not as complicated as the arse one, which is quite unique. And this has just got your standard stuff, much of it copied from the previous Yord. And you've also got your typical army buffs. Various different things, as always. Looking from these actually at the moment, I can see that most of them are repeated from Order's skill tree. So, got these we've just seen. So, this is a bit different. Got some more unique abilities, some more about his shooting, as they're very good at shooting. These particular Yords that's the main thing. And so that's always various bits of damage, and you got masterful ballistic calibration right at the end, which is a very nice ability. Then you got Frontline Commander, so you can decrease pace even yet more if he wasn't slow enough, but massive armor increase, big mere defense increase. And as you can see to the left, that is quite a big buff. Hold of the Iron, a classic. Fire Iron Commander. So that's both ranked at level 10. So you can pick either one. It looks like you can pick it both if you wanted to. Then you have Vanguard Commander. So that gives him Vanguard deployment. Still not 100% convinced that's how to use Vanguard in this particular faction, because dwarves I don't find them quick enough to take full advantage of it. But it's interesting. Then you got Heavy Vanguard, so it's great deployment for Obsidian Legionnaire units as well. That's quite nice though. That's quite interesting. That gives you a bit more flexibility with your army composition. Then you got Overforging, and you got various of your buffs as well. Pretty much a standard thing. Anyway, only a quick look at the Obsidian Legion Commanders. So here we are on turn 26. So this is I usually like to do one of these at about turn 50, but I've been struggling with time recently. So one of the main focuses of this, I wanted to show you the things I might as well start off straight away with, before we get to the campaign, is these. So these are Dwarven Warriors. Now if you saw the tech part of this video, you can actually knock these and as reinforcements. And you do this the same mechanic that DLC has, and there you go. So you just recruit which ones you want and which ones you can afford, obviously, and put them straight in the army. So at the moment I can only afford, well, one of them to be honest, so it's just to show you, recruit one of them and there you go, straight away. Very nice too, and you can increase the abilities of these units up to, I think you can get the next level, and then there's the ET level as well. Now through my first campaign I didn't actually use this mechanic at all, and I just went it with all these, and I actually did a lot better than I am with this particular army. So let's see how things have gone. Well, badly to be perfectly honest. This is when a campaign goes wrong, I think you could say, but I thought it'd be a nice example. So here we are, we started off here and I took Martech very early doors, and for a change of pace I decided to nip through the Bretonnians here, go around. I took a settlement here, I took an island, a bit of extra cash around here, and then I swung around and took Sorcerer's Islands, and I thought, let's have a word of Arkham down here. So I've just taken this, and I've just defended it from a follow-up attack, and this just gives me this particular province here. My idea was go around the back, take this, and then take his palace down here, which is not bad, not really that hard defended, but as you know, Tomb Kings have the ability to create armies very quickly. But it's 26, and the Skaven had just come over and absolutely destroyed me here. I had created an army, and I thought they were coming down here, so I moved my army downwards, and unfortunately they took that out instead, and that didn't have a full strength garrison, which I thought it did. And so yeah, they walked straight through it. I didn't even bother doing a fight because it was a full stack of Skaven, and it's just an auto resolve. So I'm in trouble. Either I can make short work of this place, or I have to abandon it and come back to my home province and defend against the Skaven. And at my previous playthrough, I did actually go east instead and took that land straight away. I think I went straight against the Lizard Army as well. But I've decided to make friends with the Lizard Army down here, and they're making decent progress, and that gives me a bit more trade. But as you can see, got a bit of a cash flow problem at the moment. So yeah, so that's my particular army. So let's have a quick talk about this army. So started off with the same units, but I've added some shield walls. I've upgraded what level is he now? He's not that, yeah, only 6, so yeah, early on. And I've basically still got the same units I started off with, and I've added some more Dwarf Warriors and some shield walls. And this is my second army, which I was going to use to defend this province, because this is kind of a key province for me. And my idea of doing this, when I think about it, actually, as I've just remembered, was to get a port early on. Now I did take this port here early on, but the Bretonnian took it back as soon as I moved away from it. Forgot to mention that. So my next thing is to capture here, capture there, then I got a nice port, and then I can start trying to get some better trade. Because at the moment, I've got one trade with that Yizmin faction, which I mentioned to the east. So that is particularly the state of play. So I'll show you there. Anyway, thanks for watching this compilation of the two videos of the units, if you've seen the unit video, and this one. Hope you go and try this mod. It's very good, and it's very, very complete. It's completely for us, haven't had a single problem playing it. And I will see you in my next video.